Chosen one, lean in for a second. You're not here by accident. This isn't just random scrolling. This moment was meant to happen. Before you even woke up today, heaven had this all set up for you. The God who created every star has orchestrated this moment because it holds fresh revelation and powerful changes just for you. You're right on the edge of a breakthrough that's already starting to unfold in the spiritual realm. Things are shifting in your favor. Those obstacles that used to block your way, they're starting to crumble. What felt like endless delays, heaven's speeding things up for you. You're stepping into a season where God's provision overcomes every earthly limitation. Resources are flowing straight from His hand, and restoration is coming your way because God has spoken it over your life. As Jeremiah 29:11 says, He has plans for you, plans filled with hope and a future brimming with promise. This isn't just a nice thought. It's a powerful declaration stirring your spirit and calling you to rise up and embrace what's been waiting for you. Get your heart ready because your season of divine release starts right now. There comes a time in every journey when heaven steps in and says, enough, enough of forcing things, enough of old cycles, enough of carrying burdens that aren't yours to bear. I know this moment well because I've been there. I pushed forward for years until I felt worn out, trying to hold everything together. Every door I knocked on stayed shut. But even in those tough times, something holy was happening behind the scenes. Heaven was preparing a major shift. And guess what? That same shift is happening for you right now. You might not feel it yet. You might still see those unpaid bills or feel the pressure of uncertainty, wondering how God will make a way. But trust me, the spiritual atmosphere around you has already changed. You're entering a divine turning point, a moment when struggle gives way to blessing. I've learned that God doesn't wait for everything to look perfect before He acts. He moves right in the middle of impossibility. He steps in when human reasoning fails. He shows up when you finally say, God, I surrender. And your surrender has caught heaven's attention. There's a sacred space where God shifts you from striving to simply receiving. When I hit that place in my life, it wasn't because my circumstances magically improved overnight. It was because something inside me changed first. I stopped trying to carry everything alone. I stopped believing that my hard work was the only thing that mattered. I started trusting that I wasn't abandoned in the struggle, but was being carefully positioned for something greater. You're in that same divine positioning right now. The heavy load you've been carrying is starting to lift, not because you found extra strength, but because God has taken full responsibility for your needs. You've been faithful. You've pushed through storms that would have stopped others. You've kept moving even when exhaustion tried to weigh you down. And heaven has seen every step. You're not just flipping to a new page. You're stepping into a supernatural shift where what was once hard begins to flow with ease. What was delayed is suddenly speeding up. I don't say this lightly. I've seen God move in ways that defy logic. I've watched answers come before I even asked the questions. I've seen doors swing open that I didn't even know existed. And that same faithful God is actively working in your life today. Your prosperity isn't tied to the world's economy. It isn't limited by your job or your bank account. It's not held back by what others think. Your abundance comes from the God who declared in Jeremiah 29:11 that His plans for you are good plans to prosper you and give you hope. When I truly understood this, something shifted inside me. The fear of not having enough, the scarcity mindset, the belief that I had to fight for every blessing, it all started to fade. I realized that provision wasn't something I had to earn through struggle. It was already secured by God's promise. And that same truth is over your life today. You were never meant to barely scrape by. You weren't called to live in constant survival mode. You're marked for more. You're positioned for overflow. You're destined for a supernatural supply that exceeds every need. I've seen this happen in the quietest ways, moments when I didn't know how the next day would work out, yet help arrived right on time. Deadlines loomed, yet provision showed up at the last minute. These weren't coincidences. They were clear divine interventions. and your life is about to carry those unmistakable signs of God's hand. But here's something important. Divine abundance isn't just about money. It's about total alignment. When heaven aligns with your life, everything flows differently. Peace runs deeper, vision sharpens, confidence grows. You stop waking up afraid and start waking up expectant. You stop asking, "How will I make it?" and start declaring, "God is already making a way." I know this shift personally. Once it takes hold, you'll never see life the same way again. You're not entering a season where you have to push harder. You're entering a season where you'll watch God move faster. The burden is lifting because heaven has taken the weight. Confusion is clearing because God is bringing order to chaos. Opportunities that once felt far away are already on their way to you. From my own experience, I can tell you when God starts speeding things up, it feels like lost time is suddenly restored in one powerful move. You're stepping into a season where blessings find you instead of you chasing after them. I remember a time after years of pushing forward when blessings started arriving in waves, answers I hadn't even asked for, solutions I couldn't have planned, provision beyond what I thought possible. I learned a powerful truth. When God declares your time of lack is over, nothing can reverse it. God has made that same declaration over your life today. This is your moment. This is your divine turning point. Heaven is beginning to release everything that has been held for you. Take a deep breath and feel it. Something is shifting. Something is opening. Something is flowing. Not because you earned it perfectly, but because you are chosen and anointed for it. As this divine shift deepens in your life, recognize a sacred truth. Breakthrough doesn't always come with loud announcements. Sometimes it starts as a quiet knowing, a gentle sense that something in the spiritual realm has already turned in your favor. I remember times when nothing around me looked different, yet I felt a powerful current building beneath it all. It was like heaven was saying, "Stay ready, something significant is coming." And something significant is on its way for you. Not something small or temporary, but something that clearly bears God's mark. There's a supernatural alignment happening in your life right now. You might not see every detail moving yet, but heaven is arranging people, opportunities, and resources just for you. Divine alignment is never accidental. It's purposeful, strategic, and orchestrated by a God who sees your entire path more clearly than you ever could. In my own journey, I've learned that every delay had meaning, every closed door offered protection, and every detour was guiding me toward my destiny. And you, anointed one, are walking through that same intentional divine arrangement. You're entering a realm where God speeds up what once felt stuck. I've watched him turn years of waiting into sudden moments of fulfillment. I've seen him elevate people from obscurity to positions of influence almost overnight. And I'm telling you by the Spirit, you're next in line. Your name is already being mentioned in rooms you haven't even entered yet. Future connections are feeling drawn to you. Opportunities are already being set in motion. Heaven isn't just preparing to bless you. Heaven is actively doing it right now. But here's a truth many miss. True supernatural transfer doesn't start on the outside. It begins on the inside. Abundance first becomes a revelation, then a manifestation. When I finally believed deep down that God was fully responsible for my supply, everything changed. Fear lost its grip. Anxiety faded. I stopped focusing on what I had lost and started standing on God's promises. Soon after, resources, fresh ideas, and unexpected favor began flowing in ways I never could have planned. This is exactly what's happening inside you right now. Old mindsets are breaking away, limitations are releasing, and your inner world is being reordered to match what heaven has declared over you. You're being prepared to carry and manage more than you ever have before. You're being shaped for a level of blessing that requires a renewed heart and mind. God isn't just transferring provision, He's transforming you so you can handle it with wisdom, strength, and humility. I know the battle with doubt all too well, the wondering if the promise is really for you, questioning if you're truly ready. But let me tell you, from the other side of that valley, Doubt always screams the loudest just before breakthrough arrives. When the enemy senses heaven's activity, he tries to flood your mind with confusion. He tries to pull your focus back to past failures instead of God's promises. He tries to convince you that you're unworthy of overflow. But chosen one, hear this clearly. God doesn't reserve abundance only for the perfect. He releases it to the called, and you are undeniably called. Every season of lack, every waiting period, every unanswered prayer, every long night of wondering when change would come, none of it was wasted. All of it was training, refining, expanding, and strengthening you for the mantle you're about to wear. I felt this kind of hidden preparation, and I can tell you, the depth of the struggle reveals the greatness of the coming blessing. Deep preparation means extraordinary destiny. This isn't just some pep talk, it's the real deal. I'm sharing this because I've been through the same journey. There was a time I clung to what felt safe because change freaked me out. Even when God nudged me towards new beginnings, I hesitated. But once I let go, everything changed in ways I couldn't have imagined. Doors that had been shut for ages suddenly flew open. Blessings showed up where I thought there was nothing. I realized a powerful truth. God didn't create me to stay in my comfort zone. He made me to grow, to rise, and to step boldly into my purpose. You too are on the brink of something amazing. Your willingness to surrender is about to unleash that same supernatural flow. Don't shy away from the unknown. That's where God does his best work. There's a perfect timing for your life, and you're stepping into it right now. If you've felt overlooked or stuck in the past, remember that heaven doesn't follow our timelines. It looks at the readiness of your heart, not just the passing days. You might not see it yet, but you're ready. Ready for growth, for blessings, for the kind of lift that comes from purpose, not pressure. Let me share something personal that I think will resonate with you. I remember a quiet moment when I felt God speaking right to my heart. It wasn't during a big event. It was in a simple moment of surrender. I heard him say, "You're moving from just getting by to overflowing." At first, I struggled to believe it. I was so used to scarcity that abundance felt weird. But as I leaned into that whisper, everything shifted. Opportunities popped up, connections blossomed, ideas flowed effortlessly. What used to take a ton of effort now felt easy. That same heavenly whisper is reaching out to you today. You're moving from forcing things to letting them flow naturally with God's help. Your spirit knows change is near. Your dreams are getting clearer. You're feeling drawn to something bigger. These aren't just random feelings. They're signs that heaven is aligning you for a release of wisdom, resources, connections, and favor. And this abundance isn't just about money. It's spiritual, emotional, relational, and mental. God is enriching every part of your life. I've seen this pattern in my own life. Before financial blessings came, I found peace. Before opportunities appeared, I gained clarity. Before breakthroughs, I experienced healing. That's how heaven works. Transformation within leads to manifestation outside. You might notice some relationships shifting, with certain people drifting away. Don't be sad about that. God is pruning your circle so you can grow without hindrance. Abundance needs wise relationships, and heaven is gently removing voices that can't go with you to your next level. Trust that every ending is part of your greater journey. The same God who lifted Joseph from prison to palace is lifting you. The same God who positioned Ruth for favor is positioning you. The same God who multiplied the widow's oil is multiplying your life. Just like they experienced sudden shifts after long waits, your moment is closer than you think. You're standing on the edge of something incredible. I feel it strongly as I talk to you. The winds of change are blowing. The atmosphere around your destiny is buzzing with divine activity. You won't miss your moment. Heaven is precise. God is faithful. Your purpose is significant. Get your heart ready. Something that's been held back is about to break through. Something that's been decreed in heaven is stepping into your story. And when it does, you'll know it's all God. As we dive deeper into this message, remember this: before God pours out abundance, He pours courage into your spirit. Courage to dream bigger, courage to think higher, courage to step boldly, courage to expect more. And right now, that courage is rising in you like a holy fire. You might not fully notice it yet, but a new boldness is awakening. A boldness to stop settling for survival and embrace the life heaven has planned for you. I've lived through this awakening. There were times when fear was louder than faith, when doubt overshadowed hope, and when circumstances screamed louder than God's voice. But in those honest prayer moments, courage began to rise. Once courage takes root, everything around you starts to shift. The courage building in you is extraordinary. It's not just ordinary courage. It's supernatural. It's the kind of courage that parted seas, calmed lions, walked on waves, and stood firm in storms, not because of human strength, but because it knows the one who commands the storm. This courage is wrapping around your spirit, getting you ready for what's ahead. Abundance needs courage, not recklessness, but holy courage. Courage to trust God's timing when it feels late. Courage to step through doors that seem too big. Courage to be a version of yourself you've never fully embraced. And most importantly, courage to let go of old patterns of scarcity. Let me share something personal because I think you'll relate. Before God brought increase into my life, He first tackled the mindsets that were blocking it. I had to let go of the belief that good things came only through struggle. I had to release the fear that blessings would slip away. I had to quiet the voice questioning my worthiness. Changing my identity wasn't easy, but as I let go of those lies, space was created, space for God to move, for heaven to pour, for favor to flow. Those same barriers are crumbling in your life right now. You might feel emotional or stretched as old versions of you fade away. This isn't unrest, it's rebirth. Heaven is getting you ready for what's ahead. God won't fill a heart cracked by fear. He's sealing every fracture with strength, peace, and wholeness. That's why some things no longer feel satisfying. Old habits feel heavy. Familiar places feel stifling. When God is lifting you, He makes the old season uncomfortable so you'll move forward. I've felt that holy discomfort, and I know what it means. Promotion is close. Kingdom promotion doesn't start with recognition from others. It begins with inner alignment. When God aligns you, heaven notices first, even if people don't see it yet. That alignment is happening right now. Your thoughts are getting clearer. Your emotions are finding peace. Your desires are lining up with your purpose. Your spirit is stepping into readiness. Say this gently but boldly. You're no longer the person you used to be. You've outgrown old fears, habits, and limits. Heaven has refined you through unseen battles. You carried pain quietly. You prayed prayers no one heard. You endured seasons with quiet faithfulness. And heaven recorded every moment. Nothing was lost. That's why your coming blessing will be unmistakable. It's not luck. It's divine justice, reward, and timing. You're stepping into abundance that flows from divine placement, not just human effort. And with that placement comes sharper discernment, the ability to know what's truly for you and what's not. The ability to spot God-given opportunities and avoid distractions. Discernment is true wealth, and heaven is increasing it in you. Another truth to hold on to: when God starts to elevate someone, spiritual resistance often kicks in briefly. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're moving in the right direction. Pressure builds just before breakthrough. The enemy may try one last push to distract or discourage you. But don't fear those moments. They're not defeat. They're proof you're entering promised territory. I've seen this pattern over and over. Every major lift was preceded by a brief season of intense shaking. But after the shaking comes settling into greater blessings. You're in that sacred crossing right now. The shaking isn't destruction, it's divine construction. Heaven is building something new in you, around you, and through you. When the dust settles, your life will reflect undeniable blessings. You were born for this moment, refined for this moment, Position for this moment. Heaven is declaring over you. Move forward. The next level of your calling is waiting. The deeper we go into this divine message, the clearer it becomes that God has been shaping you for longer than you realize, longer than anyone around you could see. Every trial, every waiting period, every silent question has been part of a masterful refining process. You weren't overlooked or punished. You were being perfectly positioned. There comes a moment in every destiny when God declares, now. And heaven is saying that word over your life today. Now is your time. Now is your acceleration. Now is your lift. What was held back is being released. What felt blocked is flowing freely. What seemed distant is being placed directly in your hands. But to step fully into this, you need to see the spiritual foundation that got you here. Divine elevation starts in the unseen. God builds strong roots before extending mighty branches. For years, whether you noticed or not, He's been deepening your inner foundation. Quiet seasons taught you to hear His voice. Broken moments taught you to lean on His plan. Long waits built patience, resilience, and unshakable strength. Painful chapters revealed the true substance of your spirit. I know this process well. There were times I felt God was distant, when prayers seemed unanswered, when every step felt empty. I cried out, "Why am I going through this?" And the answer was simple yet profound. I'm forming you. I'm deepening you. I'm preparing you for what's still unseen. When the breakthrough finally came, I understood the earlier version of me couldn't have handled the weight of the blessings that followed the refining. The same goes for you. You're becoming someone who can hold abundance without losing your center. Someone who can walk in influence without compromising character. But with new doors come new responsibilities, not heavy burdens, but holy ones. It's all about staying humble, aligned, faithful, and connected to the God who's brought you this far. Abundance can either lift you up or drag you down, depending on the heart that holds it. And heaven trusts you because your heart has shown faithfulness in those hidden seasons. You stayed true when no one was watching. You chose calling over comfort. Your character stood strong against challenges. Heaven rewards that kind of proven character. Don't sweat the size of what God is releasing. You're more ready than you think. Heaven wouldn't lead you here unprepared. You're stepping into your divine inheritance, and nothing, not fear, not doubt, not past delays, not opposition, can block what God has declared. Lift your eyes and your spirit. Your next chapter isn't just on the horizon. It's unfolding right now. The provision, favor, and opportunities meant for you are about to show up in ways that'll leave you breathless at God's goodness. As we continue this holy unfolding, take a deep breath and soak in this powerful truth. You're entering a season where heaven isn't just preparing you anymore. It's positioning you. Preparation happens in the shadows. Positioning happens in the light. Preparation builds your inner strength. Positioning reveals your outer calling. You've walked a long road of being unseen, misunderstood, undervalued, or passed over. You've watched others step forward while you quietly waited in the wings. You've cheered for them while wondering about your own timing. But what you might not have fully realized is this: heaven pays way more attention to the hidden heart than the public platform. The faithfulness, integrity, and quiet endurance you showed in private have qualified you for what's about to unfold publicly. I totally get this waiting place. I spent years serving in silence, giving without recognition, growing without applause. For a long time, it felt like no one noticed the prayers, the sacrifices, the steadfast heart. But then suddenly and sovereignly God brought me forward. Not because I demanded it, but because I had become someone who could carry it. That same sudden divine advancement is coming for you. Heaven is stepping fully into your story in a way that will only make sense when you look back. Doors that were once closed will swing open. Opportunities that overlooked you will come looking for you. Favor that felt far away will settle upon you like a royal mantle. This isn't random, it's divine appointment. Elevation and abundance don't always come with a parade. Often, They enter quietly through a whisper, a gentle nudge, a small opening that carries eternal weight. When God is lifting you, the change often starts softly. Your mindset shifts, your habits align, your decisions gain purpose. You might start feeling out of place in old environments. You sense a holy restlessness, a divine stirring calling you higher. This restlessness isn't unrest, it's a holy transition. Transitions are bridges between seasons. They can feel a bit shaky, but they're sacred. You're not being pulled from your old life. You're being invited into the life heaven wrote for you before time began. But hear this, divine elevation demands divine courage. Courage to step into rooms you once avoided. Courage to embrace opportunities that feel beyond you. Courage to trust God beyond logic and comfort. And even though it might feel stretching, heaven has already equipped you for this exact season. There were moments in my journey when I hesitated because I didn't feel ready. But God reminded me, He doesn't call the fully qualified, He qualifies the called. And chosen one, you are called. Called to rise. Called to influence. Called to walk in abundance. Called to manage provision wisely. Called to break old cycles and build a lasting legacy. You're stepping into a divine inheritance that's been waiting for you, a legacy that's not just financial, but spiritual and generational. When heaven elevates a chosen one, the blessing echoes through bloodlines. Let's talk about those almost moments. You know, the times when breakthrough felt so close yet slipped away. The doors that opened, just a crack but never fully. The opportunities that popped up but didn't stick around. Those seasons weren't failures, they were divine rehearsals. They trained you, strengthened you, and taught you how to stand steady so that when the true blessing arrives, you'll hold it firmly. You're now entering a season where almost becomes it is finished, where one day becomes today, where I hope turns into I know. Heaven isn't playing games. Heaven isn't testing you. Heaven is trusting you. The supernatural transfer coming your way will be stable, sustained, growing, and flourishing. This isn't just a temporary lift, it's a permanent establishment. You're being rooted deeply, not just momentarily rewarded. As heaven raises you, clarity is also coming down. Past events will suddenly make sense. People's true roles in your story will become clear. Seasons of pain will reveal their hidden purpose. This clarity is wealth. Wisdom is wealth. Discernment is wealth. And heaven is pouring it generously over you. Remember this truth that has anchored my walk. When God elevates you, He also elevates your surroundings. Expect upgrades. Expect divine connections. Expect to be drawn into circles that align with your purpose. Expect conversations that unlock doors. Expect people who see your God-given potential. Your life is stepping into holy order. No more chaos, no more frantic effort. The pieces are aligning. The path is lighting up. You're moving into a new realm. As you step deeper into this divine unfolding, understand this vital truth. Heaven isn't just shifting your circumstances. Heaven is purifying and upgrading your entire atmosphere. The spiritual climate around you is being cleansed, recalibrated, and prepared for the magnitude of blessing about to settle upon you. That's why things feel like they're changing quickly. That's why some people no longer fit. That's why old places feel limiting. The atmosphere that sustains struggle can't hold elevation. The abundance and favor coming require a higher spiritual environment. God is removing what drains you and replacing it with what empowers you. I've been through this same atmospheric shift. People I never expected to lose quietly faded away. Opportunities I never imagined suddenly appeared. At first, it felt disorienting, but then I saw God was pruning my surroundings so my blessing would have room to thrive. You might be in that pruning season now. If relationships are fading, let them go. If old patterns feel restrictive, release them. Heaven is making space. Overflow can't fill a cluttered life. Divine provision can't root in distracted soil. God is clearing your ground for a massive harvest. Elevation reveals what comfort once hid. When God starts to lift you, He exposes who is truly with you and who is just around. Some celebrated you only while you stayed small and predictable. But as your spirit expands, your vision grows, and your territory increases, true motives will surface. This revelation is protection. You're being guarded from those who can't carry your next level. You're being separated from voices that would dilute your blessing. Though the separation might sting, it's heaven's mercy. I've experienced this exposure, trusted connections revealing hidden motives the moment God raised me. At first, I mourned the loss, but later I thanked God. Had they stayed, they would have hindered what He was releasing. Sometimes God protects your future by removing people from your present. Notice what God is removing. Notice even more what He is revealing. Revelation is wealth. Discernment is inheritance. Clarity is one of heaven's greatest gifts. You're entering a season where your intuition will be sharper. You'll sense misalignment before it fully forms. You'll detect danger before it gets close. This heightened sensitivity is a sign heaven is entrusting you with greater stewardship. Part of walking in divine abundance is maturing enough to protect what God gives. Not everyone deserves access in this season. Not everyone should know your vision. Not everyone is equipped to walk beside you into greater purpose. Some blessings require privacy. Some breakthroughs need silence. Some miracles need guarding. Yet even as God separates you from some, He's drawing new allies, near destiny helpers, divine connectors, spiritually mature companions with pure hearts in kingdom assignments. Some will guide you, some will stand with you, some will open doors, some will cover you in prayer. These connections aren't by chance, they're heaven orchestrated. I remember when God started sending new people into my life, individuals whose presence brought peace, clarity, and confirmation. At first, I questioned if I could trust them, but soon I realized they were answers to prayers I had almost forgotten. The same divine connections are being lined up for you right now. Your circle is shifting because your calling is expanding. Your environment is upgrading because your assignment is growing. Your relationships are being refined because your destiny demands stronger spiritual support. Above all, know this: the changes around you are proof that God is getting ready to release something monumental. When heaven rearranges your atmosphere, it's because heaven is about to fill it. Prepare your heart. You're stepping into a realm where peace wraps around you, favor chases you, opportunities find you, and blessings locate you. The turbulence you sense isn't falling, it's rising. Heaven is lifting you higher. As you move deeper into this sacred revelation, you'll start to feel something beautiful awakening in the quiet places of your spirit. It's a gentle strengthening, a holy clarity dawning like light after long darkness. This clarity is heaven's gift because your next season requires sharper vision and deeper discernment. You're not just receiving blessings, you're being equipped to manage them wisely. And that equipping starts with spiritual sight. There comes a moment for every chosen one when the world's noise fades and God's voice becomes crystal clear. Distractions lose their power. Old temptations don't pull like they used to. This isn't just you trying harder, it's the Spirit of God refining your desires and shifting your focus to what truly matters. If this word touched your heart today, type "I receive my divine overflow" in the comments right now. It's your act of faith. And hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss what heaven is releasing next. Thank you for being here, chosen one. I'm praying for your breakthrough. See you in the next video.